Hey guys, it's Rufus. Making strats and coming up with new ideas is surprisingly not very difficult. There are so many options, so you can usually come up with a lot of ideas to test out. This is especially true if you have other people to help you make strats too, because when other people have their own ideas or have tested out ideas, oftentimes they know something that you don't, and it can be pretty great because a lot of what you learn is from other people. Everybody has some off-meta strategies that work really well for them. And so when you take a few from, say, 100 people, you really learn a lot. You learn not only what works, but what doesn't work. And 100 people sounds like a lot, but when you play competitive, you meet a lot of different people. And the more people you meet, the easier it gets to meet more. And this is what I've been doing for about a year, and at this point I'd like to say that I'm pretty good at making strategies. So really, if you keep working on improving your strats and making new ones, you will get better. Even better if you can get criticism too, because that's where you can find holes in your strategy and make it even stronger. But here's a story. I've been playing competitive for a year and have been making strats for every team I've played on. In order to get to where I am now, I've watched a lot of Pro League, and I've experimented, I've tested, I've gotten criticism, and I've simply spent a lot of time developing strategies and improving them. The way I got here is by consistently practicing, experimenting, and using all the tips that I've mentioned, but I've also watched a lot of Pro League. This is going to help so much because this is where you see ideas, strategies, setups, angles, and so much more. You can learn so much from other people, and so watching Pro League is my biggest recommendation. One way to come up with strats though is to go into a custom game, and I will go and pick smoke, test out reinforcements, holes, rotations, utility placements, and really just get a visual view of a setup. And if you're just learning, you're just starting out, it's really helpful to see and kind of think, just come up with new ideas, come up with possibilities, try and see things that other people don't see. Going into a custom is also really helpful for coming up with strategies that are dependent on angles and site prep. However, roam strategies are not going to be defined by your utility placement. Instead, you will need to be smart and come up with an adaptable system that works. An example of a system would simply be falling back to a room after you destroy a drone. It's simple, but this is the system that many teams and many players use in order to build their roam strat, and they base it all around prioritizing their life and wasting time, because that's really all roaming is. Now, this video isn't very specific because it's not very complicated. Strategies are complicated, but learning to make them and actually putting them into effect is not. In order to make good strats, there is no secret. It's a skill that you need to build, and you will need to practice using it consistently. Not only to maintain that skill, but to also keep up with the meta, because if you don't consistently practice, you will fall behind. However, over time, you're going to get better at thinking outside the box and to knowing what works and what doesn't work. Now, if you want to follow my Discord, Twitter, or Patreon, link in the description below, but that's all to say for this video, and if you learned something, give the video a like, and if you want to see more content like this, then subscribe. Toodles!